Good morning. Well, I let the cat out of the bag last week, didn't I? Growing hostas fully submerged. You heard me, I said hostas, and I'll show you why in a minute. There's the mouse ear hosta that I've been working on since, well, basically March. You can see the 3 leaves that I started out with, and there are 7 completely new growth leaves coming off of it. The rhizome, you can see, if you're familiar with aqua-scaping, it's almost got banana plant looking root structure coming out, and then some new hair roots. It is crazy glued to that rock, and now let's discuss how it came about. I read an article, it was before COVID came, and let me see if I can get the computer over here. Guy had wrote an article in the 1950s where he had a hosta that was submerged and thriving year after year. Now, it was basically talking about his pond setup, how he was doing it. Remember, this was the 1950s. There wasn't too much involved. Right after they mentioned that, he showed the plant, and it went on to other plants around there, some koi that he had, other things in his pond. Got me to thinking, okay, is it fully submerged every year, fully submerged all the time? Does it just get submerged if the pond's water comes up? There was really nothing to go off of. But, as many people know, I love hostas. My wife and I have over 200 of them in our yard. I think we're up to 30 or 40 different variants right now. And I'm always playing around trying to do different things with them anyway. So this was just kind of second nature, natural for me to say, hey, I love aquascaping and I love gardening and I love hostas. I wonder if I can actually grow a hosta completely underwater and have it live. I know my little mouse-eared hosta is in an area that when it rains, it could be submerged partly, not fully, but partly for 3-4 days sometimes. And that area is always just wet soil. So I figured, okay, perfect candidate, let's go take off a piece of it. So I went and split a piece off, or propagated as a lot of people would call it, and cleaned it up, got it in good shape, pulled off dead leaves, everything that needed to be done to try and get it where I can work with it. Started out with the 4 leaves. It now has 3. Those 3 main leaves that you see there that are fully formed. The 4th one, I don't know if it melted off or if I had broke it off, how it happened, but it's gone. So what I did is I crazy glued it to that rock and I put it in a Yankee tumbler. That's basically right there, Yankee tumbler that you're dealing with. Put the lid back on it, filled it up with water. Put it in the windowsill. I would do a 100% water change on it every week, adding 1 milliliter of Flourish Advanced, and then every second week a 0.5 milliliter of Flourish Iron, along with the Advanced. Put it in the windowsill and watched it. For about the first month, I had about half the rhizome underwater. I didn't want to completely submerge the rhizome or the plant. I knew that it survived outside in that kind of environment and did good. About June, I had noticed that it had no melt on it, and by that you could actually squeeze it and you could feel the rhizome was still hard, the plant leaves themselves were not melting off, they weren't showing decay, any kind of issues. So I said, okay. I put the full thing underwater, which means that all the brown right there, which is the rhizome of that plant, I put it underwater to where the leaf bases started. Kept going, working it up till September. I had got it to about the bottom of the leaves. Maybe it was August. I really should have kept notes, but had it to, let's call it, it was probably mid-August. Had it to the bottom of the leaves. At that point I started noticing little shoots coming out, new growth. That got me excited. That's when I thought, okay, this thing might actually work. In September, I fully submerged the leaves because I could see new growth coming. Well, fast forward it to last week, I made the post, and you could see last week that there was growth growing. There's 7 new leaves coming out of it. Don't know what they're going to end up looking like. That's part of the fun of this. Will they be narrow leaf? Will they be broad leaf? What will they look like? But they are growing. If you look at the video picture, if you look at the pictures, you can actually see that it's grown quite nicely. Let's see if we can get a down look. Oh, you can see that it's growing in this tank now. Yes, this is my Amazon tank, jungle tank, whatever you want to call it. My mono shrimp tank is usually what I refer to it to. Because, well, yeah, it's got a lot of mono shrimp in it. You're going to, it's not going to zoom in on him. I don't know what's going on with the zoom. Wow, that was weird. Anyway, there's one of the mono shrimp. There's 14 of them in here. They keep a tank really clean, but that's just real exciting. That is a hosta growing completely submerged in a 10-gallon tank. Water temperature on the tank, same as it was in the tumbler, is 72 degrees. They stay year-round, 72. No heater in these tanks. Purely just a hot rodded filter I made. And the shrimp, weekly water change in this tank is 25%, which is 2 gallons. It's 8 gallons total water with all substrate and all the everything else added. There's only 8 gallons of water in it. So it gets 2 gallons changed weekly, and it gets dosed. I've discussed this tank many times and its dosing. You can look it up on my other videos. I might put it in the detail on this one. And as you already saw, I've been working on other ones. Yeah, that's a staghorn that I've been working on for a long time. That is the, well, it's great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather has got about a 2-foot span on its leaves. From rhizome to rhizome. I mean, the leaves themselves are about a foot, foot and a half long each. I've been trying to get it down to miniature form for a couple years, well, more than a couple, and it seems to be working. I also know that this plant is in an area that's very wet in my garden as well. So I figured, let's give it a try. Well, cat out of the bag again. I've got several hostas I'm doing, but this is the one that, well, look at that root structure. When I put it in there, it was actually a propagated variety, and that was back in early August when I started getting some kind of feeling that this might actually be doable. Let me pull it out and give everybody a really good look of it. Alright. Sorry for the lighting in my office, it's not the best, but you can see what kind of root structure it's got. It did not have that rhizome coming off when I put it underwater. I really wish that the lighting was better. There we go. Alright. And there's the lighting. There's the root structure. A second rhizome came off of it. Looks like it's going to put out a third even, maybe a fourth. And this is all since it's been underwater. So I might be on to something new in both gardening world for people who love hostas and for the fish keeping world of people who love planted tanks. I'll keep you updated, but right now I'm really excited. You have a great day.